Hey, folks. Some of you from a while back might remember I did a video about how I would integrate the X-Men into the MCU. That was a lot of fun to make. Had really a chance to stretch my creative muscle a little bit. And I thought it would be fun to do something for the Fantastic Four. So I've been noodling around with that in my head for the past little while, and it's been a struggle. The hard part is if I'm gonna put the Fantastic Four in the MCU, I need to tell their origin. I can't just say they were off doing their own thing during Infinity War and Endgame. That just doesn't really work unless I want to make it there from an alternate universe or something. That just seems like making things more complicated than they have to be. So, so we have to tell the Fantastic Four's origin. Here, here's the kicker. More than just about any other superhero team or book, the origin of the Fantastic Four really doesn't matter. Here's what I mean. Most origin stories have, a moment, a fit, something in it that changes who these people are fundamentally. Bruce Wayne experiences tragedy, dedicates the rest of his life to ensuring no one else goes through that tragedy. Peter Parker has, the consequences of selflessness demonstrated to him in the most dramatic way possible and embraces altruism. So on and so forth. The FF are the same people they were pretty much before they got their powers and after. You know, they they were working on a ship to go into space. They were inventors and dreamers and explorers. And after they get their powers, that's still what they are. That's still what they do, just on a much grander scale. Like, seriously, my treatment for how I do my ideas of how I do this with Soul Fox is we'd skip the origin. Like the Fantastic Four already established, they're living in the Baxter building. And, the lower levels are basically a museum to the team. We follow a tour guide through as they give, the quick abbreviated version of the origins. On an outer space adventure, they got hit by cosmic rays, and the four will change forever in some most fantastic ways. No need to fear, they're here. Just call the four. Fantastic Four! They're a cartoon from the 90s. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. It's a delight. But, they go for the tour, and then it just cuts to Reed's lab, and we hit the ground running. But can't really do that with the MCU. So here's what I've managed to come up with, and hopefully it'll sound interesting to you. So Reed, his partner Sue, his girlfriend and partner Sue, are working on a ship for basically the governments of the world. A ship capable of interstellar travel, which would allow them to go out into the universe, make peaceful contact, build alliances, in case something like Thanos ever happens again. Earth will have people to rely on, allies they can call upon, because no one really knows if the Avengers are even still a thing right now. And they can't really rely on the hope that some other group of super people will come around and be able to defend the Earth from, oh, I don't know, some eldritch abomination from beyond the stars who eats planets for sustenance. Like this trilogy. Yeah, that's who I'm doing for the big bad. Don't at me. Spoilers. The Fantastic Four will deal with Galactus eventually. And if you really want to get shocking, Doctor Doom's going to show up at some point. Anyways, so they're working on the ship. Reed and Sue are designing it. Ben Grimm is going to be the test pilot, and Johnny Storm, Sue's kid brother, is living on the base with them. Sue is his guardian. Their parents are out of the picture. I'm not going to get into that too much right now. But, so anyways, as they get closer and closer to completion, there's more and more pressure for results to come down. And finally they're threatened with, their entire funding being removed and the project being switched over to the military. And Reed will be forced to start developing fighters and weapons, which he doesn't want to do. So in order to prove the viability of the project, Reed, Ben, Sue, and Johnny, who follows along, sneak in and steal the ship, take it out to space, where they get hit by cosmic rays, they crash, and they get their powers. Reed can stretch his body like elastic, Scoot can turn invisible, form force fields, Ben Grimm becomes a giant rock monster with super strength, Johnny can burst into flames and fly. You know the drill. Project gets fully shut down, and Reed, and they're all in New York, living at Reed's home, where he's trying to find a cure for them. We're going to be taking some cues from the Mark Waid run, where Reed is extremely guilt-ridden over what happened, especially with Ben, and he just wants to fix this. He wants to make things right. And he has his own very narrow view of what that means right now. Anyways, as this happens, while they're just out and about, Ben is in the big trench coat that lets him kind of hide. Disaster happens, some kind of big danger. They're all good people, so they jump in and save people. And while they watch that, a small kind of middle-aged gentleman is watching it on TV. And says that's interesting while he makes a clay figurine of Reed Richards. A day or two later, Johnny's still buzzing with excitement over what just happened, what they did. When there's a knock at the door, there's a young blind woman by the name of Elisa Masters, who says she's here on behalf of her father, Philip Masters, who is a PR rep and head of a marketing company, and that he wants to meet with them. After this, Ben is talking with her and is clearly smitten, and the four agree to go. While there, Masters gives them the pitch. She takes them to Philip Masters' home, office, which is Stark Tower from the Avengers, from the first Avengers movie. He purchased it after Tony died. And he offers them the space as a home and research center so he can continue his work on trying to find a way to cure them. But in the meantime, he asks them to operate as a superhero team. The Avengers seem to be gone. No one knows if they're going to reform, if they're going to come back. And no one knows if there's anything like Thanos out there still. Something that dangerous, and people are scared. And something like these four coming together to protect the world might just give people a bit of comfort. At least that's how he sells it to them. After hemming and hawing, They they agree. And as they go out, they notice there's statues of the Avengers in the lobby. And Elisa says he made them. The original five. So Cap, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye. So they gather this stuff. They go to the Baxter Building, move in. Reed continues work, and we get kind of a montage of various superhero actions. Ben and Lisa growing closer together. Reed, continued work. And we start to see that Philip Masters might not be all he appears to be. We get glimpses of phone calls of him, dealing with criminal activities. And we see that he's setting up the disasters the Fantastic Four are reacting to. Elisa discovers this. And when she confronts him about it, he holds up a doll that's made up to look like her. And using that, he's able to take control of her mind. Philip Masters is a villain called the Puppet Master. And he is the first enemy the Fantastic Four are going to face. Yes, we aren't starting with Doctor Doom. Here's why. Reed's biggest flaw as a character, one of his biggest, is a tendency to be controlling. He is one of the smartest people in the world. And he is very aware of that fact. And he can sometimes fall in the trap of thinking he knows what's best for people, despite their opinions. Philip Masters is that tendency of Reed's taken to the extreme without, the mitigating factors of Reed's genuine good-heartedness, respect for other people, belief in the sanctity of free will, and his love for his friends and family. And that's where... So Reed notices something's off about Alicia when she starts just ignoring Ben. They've been going closer. And he ends up investigating and discovers what Masters has been up to. He's been trying to get control of the FF, and they'd be his puppets, basically. He'd use them as weapons in his own, criminal activities. Reed destroys the device that's controlling Alicia. And then calls the rest of the team. Before they arrive, Masters hits something on his desk. And the statues of the Avengers come to life. And that's the big fight for the end of the movie. So, you got the Fantastic Four versus the Avengers. And you'd better believe a big focus of that is going to be on the Thing versus the Hulk. Because you get these two people in the same universe, you got to start building up towards that. Anyways, eventually the FF are victorious. They expose Masters for who he is. And they are lauded as heroes. And just after the fight, there's a moment where Ben looks at the Hulk and just says, wonder how that would have gone for real. Maybe I'll find out one day. Q, make that like a Brooklyn tough guy voice. I can't do one. I'm sorry. So, yeah, then it's revealed that the FF are... Elisa gives the FF the Baxter Building. Reed, they've all more or less accepted who they are, and they settle in to be superheroes. They get a call about something going on, and then they get a call about holes opening up in New York and these giant monsters coming out of the ground, and someone calling himself the Mole Man seems to be leading them. Johnny, the FF go running out. Johnny turns into the Human Torch, flies in the sky, and does the big 4 symbol in the sky, and that's where the movie proper cuts out on. For the post-credit scene, we cut to this gloomy castle, and two soldiers are approaching a dark room, and both are carrying a tablet, and both are hesitant to go in. You go first. You go. You tell them. I don't want to tell them. I got a family. I want to live. Finally, one of them very slowly and carefully approaches this phone. There's this hooded figure, all in shadow. He hands him the tablet. Doom looks at it, and it's the FF just having stopped the Mole Man, giving an interview. He breaks the tablet in his hands, comes to his feet, raises his hands to the sky and throws his head back, revealing the mask of Dr. Doom, and that iconic cry happens. Richards! And that's a very broad outline of what I would do with a first Fantastic Four movie. Like I said, it's a little bare bones. The origin story's kind of lackluster with the FF. So you'd really need to balance this out with some good character work. Reed's guilt complex of what happened, Ben and Elisa's romance, Sue and Reed's love and support for each other. The dynamic between Johnny and all of them really is just a lot of fun. Him and Ben put things at each other. His kind of Reed and Sue, his desire to please and prove himself to Reed and Sue as these kind of quasi-paternal figures for him. I don't remember if I said this, but Johnny is a teenager in this version. He's about the same age as Tom Holland Spider-Man because you want that friendship to happen. But yeah, one of the problems I have with putting the FF in the MCU is a big part of their importance. They're basically the first superheroes. They're kind of considered that within universe. And you can't really have that with, well, what's happened in the MCU. So, setting them up as basically kind of the inheritors to the Avengers, the ones who step up to the plate, seems like a pretty good way of putting them in the same basic slot. Basic plots for the movies. Sequel is Doctor Doom. I don't have deep thoughts. Bring in Namor at one point. You're going to have the Sue, Reed, and Namor triangle. Like I said, this is one I've not really had a chance to develop an idea on what we do with the sequels. If people like this, want to see where I go from here, please like, comment. I love the FF. I'm happy to come up with some more stuff. And, we got the tedious bits out of the way. Now we can go fun with it. Because the FF is all about big, crazy, over-the-top sci-fi. I want to do Annihilus. I want to do, time travel, multiversal travel. Galactus, that's the big purple planet eater. The FF is big and weird and wonderful. And you really got to embrace that. And I hope to God Disney and the MCU do, because I want to see it. Don't have too many thoughts on casting. I'm not great at that. But I saw someone suggest Adam Scott and Kristen Bell, Eleanor from the Good Place, as Reed and Sue, and I kind of love that idea. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know. Reed shouldn't look like an action hero. You know what I mean? And that's my biggest problem with like the John Krasinski fan casting. He's really kind of grown into that I am the movie star look. He's not really quite dorky Jim from The Office anymore. So, anyways, those are my thoughts. Hope you liked. Hope it was interesting. If you have any ideas of your own, please, comments are down below. The FF are great. Let's celebrate them. Have a good night, folks. Take it easy.